One of the callers on hold was Stan. Stan wanted to offer a D-Day remembrance. I wanted to take Stan's call just now, but I'm going to, but he dropped off. I don't know what happened. Might have been something I did. I don't think so. I think he might have needed to get about it, go about his life. But I didn't want at least that note to go by that I have said before. In fact, I even thought about opening the show this way, but I worried it would be either too obvious or too much pablum or too repetitive. And that is that as we confront right now the erosion of democracy, I think it is directly linked. I really do. At the very least, strongly indirectly linked to our forgetting the lessons of World War II, of forgetting how hard it was to build at least a Western consensus or near consensus around the idea of something resembling democracy, a Western consensus about some freedom of religion, about some, and not power by religion. Those are two different concepts. But freedom of religion, freedom to worship, genuine freedom, not cloaking financial power as freedom, not falsely calling it that, but in fact, real freedom. Recognizing the importance of building international relationships of cooperation, of fighting for things other than merely material gain, of true sacrifice. Some of these lessons that were stitched in, that were maybe bled in to the United States organism, to some degree the global organism, that I think with the falling, and I have been part of the problem. I get sort of, a friend of mine, anytime we have to stand up for a veteran. My friend at a sporting event, my friend his thing is, we should create a prize for the best meaningless honoring of someone in the world. And I do my duty, I stand up. When it comes to, and I think that we underappreciate other kinds of service, right? I think we underappreciate teachers. I think we underappreciate social workers. I think we underappreciate postal workers. I think it's amazing. You can put like 50 cents on a piece of paper, put it in a box, it gets to the other box, and I don't have to give all my data to Mark Zuckerberg. It's amazing, it's a miracle. And I think we underappreciate all sorts of service. We do tend to appreciate military service. But I think we forget that World War II veteran, that person who was drafted, who didn't decide it was how they want, and it wasn't at an era when we were pretty sure we were so militarily superior to the rest of the world, where technology was so vastly superior. It wasn't in a nuclear age where we knew, well, the real fight, if it's ever going to get to where hundreds of thousands of people are going to be killed in face-to-face combat, well, there's a big weapon that'll come in to change the equation. But we were joining wars that we thought we might actually lose, where there was no question about whether or not it was for oil or for a purpose that went beyond ourselves. That those lessons, we can't forget them. And even though I wasn't able to take Stan's call, remembering people who sacrificed their lives, who knew they were going to do it, right? Who knew they were going to be sacrificed. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I'll join up and there's one in blank chance something bad might happen. But you just had an almost certainty of facing something bad. And they're willing to do that, not for the benefit of themselves, and hopefully not merely to send a lesson of the importance of military might or the importance of bearing arms or the importance of willing to wield force, but lessons of sacrifice, lessons of taking risk, lessons of community, lessons of putting all of us above just one of us, that these are lessons that we've got to remember. And that when I say that you're priceless, and definition of price is worth a lot, not for sale, the idea that it's going to take a coalition of the benevolently irrational to make democracy work, that it's going to take not only rational utility maximizers to make it possible for us to save the climate, save the middle class, and save democracy, that who was more benevolently irrational than the people who stormed the beach on D-Day? to those who served, who are now deceased, to the family members, much love to you. And to all of us, let us laud those examples of service, of selfless service that we witness. Let's try to take the best parts of those lessons. And I at least want to make sure we don't miss that today. Michael, you are on the air. Go ahead from Denver, Colorado.
Yes, hi, Jeff. Hey, real good words, Jeff. Very good words. Listen, I just called up here briefly to say I want to, shout out to the men that hit the beaches in Normandy on both sides of my father, and who was in the war, and on my mother's side of the family. And she was young, and she was working for the defense industry back then. I just want to say in general terms that, first of all, Roosevelt was a determined person. That was one of his greatest traits, and that pulled us through depression and all. Certainly not a perfect man, but he stood up tall, and he brought greatness at a time when America needed real greatness, not like what we got on baseball caps today. I'm a 22-year Navy veteran. I did my time in Tom's War. That was our war. And looking back now, what was left on the beaches of Normandy and in the South Pacific, that was truly, a lot of times people like to laugh, truly a great and probably the greatest generation that we'll ever have. I stand tall. I'm going to go out today and do some veteran stuff. So thank you in any case for everything that you do.